All right, we're going to try this a solo post game pints podcast. No Mitch Gallo, he's out vacationing. That's okay. That's okay. We still got an episode coming up this week. You won't want to miss that. But breaking news with the Montreal Canadiens as they have traded away Tyler Toffoli to the Calgary Flames. So let's break that down very quickly here, courtesy of Post Game Pints. And we decided to try something else different. We're live on Facebook. So comment and let us know what you think about the trade. So the deal is Tyler Toffoli to the Calgary Flames for 4 pieces: a first round pick, a fifth round pick, a prospect, Emil Heinonen, and then you also get Tyler Pitlick. I always have to stop before I say Pitlick because I always want to say Lance Pitlick, but it's Tyler Pitlick, who is the cousin of Rem Pitlick and Rhett Pitlick. Rhett Pitlick has been drafted by the Canadiens, already with the Habs, and then of course Rem Pitlick. So there's a couple Pitlicks with the Canadiens, 3 in their organization, 2 on their team, and they acquired Tyler Pitlick, Emil Heinonen, who was a Swedish prospect, second round pick from the Florida Panthers. That's why I wore this hat, because he's a Florida Panthers draft pick back in 2020. And don't know much about him, but all the scouting reports are that he is a hardworking forward, that Jeff Gorton really wanted him, that he is a guy that will make it to the NHL, but looks like a bottom 6 role, and it's just about work ethic for him. So I think the big prize here in the Tyler Toffoli deal is that first round pick. Fifth round pick, you don't know what you're going to get that. Maybe it'll turn into a Gallagher one day, but a first round pick. That makes the Canadiens have 2 first round picks with the possibility of more coming. But straight up on Tyler Toffoli, I didn't want the Canadiens to trade Tyler Toffoli, but I felt if they could get a first round pick and a high end prospect, go for it. I don't know if Emil Heinonen is going to be a first round, a high end prospect, but if he's a prospect that turns into an NHL player, that's something, because that's all you want is your draft picks to turn into NHL players. What kind of NHL player? He's not going to be a star. He was a second round pick. He might be, maybe he has to work towards that, but at the same time, it's a player that they're expecting to get to the NHL one day. So this is all on Jeff Gordon. Can we evaluate it today? No, it's going to be very hard. I don't mind the trade. I'm sad Tyler Toffoli's leaving the Montreal Canadiens. I thought he brought a lot to the organization. He was a guy that fit in right away. I think he was good for the young players. I think that he had some great moments with the Canadiens. I think about the overtime winner against the Winnipeg Jets to send them to the conference finals against Vegas. He scores that in overtime. I think about how he just made a mess of the Vancouver Canucks last year. Every single time he played them, he got that big hat trick goal as well. Some beautiful moments for Toffoli. Plus, even in this season where the Canadiens have been at the bottom of the league, he was one of the players that I was actually performing at a pretty good level. He came back from injury. He had 8 points in 8 straight games, and even, recently just trying to find his game again. So he is a talented player that's gone off the roster. And everybody thought maybe it was going to be Petrie, or if it was going to be Gallagher or Carey Price, and you could go down the list of players. But the player that everybody wanted was probably your best player. And the Canadiens' best offensive player this year was Tyler Toffoli. Did they get enough for him? Time will tell. Was it the right deal? Depends who they draft in the first round with that pick from the Calgary Flames. So that is a question. And if the prospect's going to turn into a player that they're going to use. Fifth round pick in Tyler Pitlick. Tyler Pitlick was just about salary moving. He's a UFA, so you don't have to really worry about, it's Pitlick for Toffoli. That's not what the trade was. So initial reaction is, looks like it's a good deal because you get 4 pieces. The prospect and the first round pick are the primary moves here. I didn't want them to move Tyler Toffoli, but we'll see how these prospects turn out. So Heinonen might be a guy that you'll see next year with the Canadiens. He's 20. He's in Sweden right now. Looks like he can maybe come to North America next year. And then the first round pick, well, they'll probably have to wait a year or 2 or 3. So a little bit on the wait and see on this deal, but that's initial reaction for Tyler Toffoli off to the Calgary Flames for Florida's draft pick that ended up Calgary's via the Sam Bennett trade. But nonetheless, that's it for our 5-minute post-game pints podcast. I know I miss you, Mitch Gallo. You're going to have your reaction when you get back, but the Canadiens are selling off pieces, and this is the first move of many to come from the Canadiens.